So we have discussed about P2P cycle, then creation of vendor groups, creating vendors. Well, the vendor master is still pending. Vendor posting profiles we have discussed, and then we have discussed about the invoice journals concept. So how to create invoice journals we have discussed, and what is the significance of posting profile we have discussed as well. Then we will discuss about this payment setup, something related to payment days, payment schedules, different methods of payment, terms of payments, and how to use them. I'll show you. Let's create one by one and I'll show you how it will work. Okay. So first let us discuss about this one small configuration called payment days. So let me take you through. So for payment days, you have to go to accounts payable. So all those setups that we were discussing are under payment setup actually. Payment days, methods of payment, payment schedules, terms of payments, cash discounts, everything is here in this page itself. So let us discuss about this concept called as payment days. Okay. So payment days gives you or payment days is a configuration where you can define a specific day in a week or in a month on which you have to pay to the vendor. See, normally I would trade vendor on regular basis. See, regularly I might have trade from vendor, but every Wednesday I'll pay my vendor. So whatever the trade is done between Wednesday to Wednesday, I'll buy it on credit. But coming to the next Wednesday, I will pay all the invoices. Okay. Or, you know, I can say 15th of every month. So I'll trade with him every month, I mean, complete month. But coming to the 15th of month, I have to pay him all the pending amount on these invoices. Whatever the invoices I have created against him, I have to settle all of them, or the due date of all those invoices falls on 15th of that month. So how is that possible? Let me click on you. So we can create a payment day as such. Like suppose if you want to make payments on Wednesday, okay. So Wednesday payments, I would say. So you can select week or month here in the selection. You can select week, day of week, Wednesday. Save. So you can apply this as a default payment day for a vendor. I mean, you can use this one in the terms of payments as a payment day actually. So if you apply this as a payment day to the vendor, so whenever you do any trade with the vendor in that week, so the next coming Wednesday will be the due date of that particular invoice. Suppose that if I would open the calendar, so today is Monday. Suppose if I book an invoice against the vendor today, so the due date will be on 1st. So on Wednesday will be the due date. Suppose if I book any invoice on Thursday here, so next coming Wednesday, like 8th of December would be the due date of that invoice, or whatever the invoices that I book in this week has to be paid on 8th of December. Okay, that's how we can select a weekday. So you can apply it as a default payment day to the vendor. Also, you have to configure a terms of payment in which you can use the payment day and apply it. So I'll show you further how to use this payment days in terms of payment and how it will work. Other than this, you can also create it in this way, like 15th pay. Just the name that I'm giving you. You can give any name if you want to. You can say it as 15th day payments. So here I can select month rather than week, and I can say day in month as 15. This is how. So what it mean is like you might do invoice on any day, but due date will fall on next 15th. Suppose if I'm doing invoice on 1st of November for the vendor, due date of the invoice or the payment that I mean the settlement date of the invoice should be on 15th. I'm due to pay the vendor on 15th. Suppose if I do invoice on 8th also, then also the due date will be 15th. If I do it on 14th also, due date will be 15th. But whereas if I do on 15th, 16th or any other day, so it next month's 15 will be the due date of the invoice. Suppose if I does the invoice on November 16th, next coming 15th means December 15th will be the due date of that invoice, or later invoices all are that done before December 15th. December 15th will be the due date. Okay, so that's a kind of pattern that you follow. I mean, you will settle the vendor on single day or given day, or you can also keep maintain 2 days actually. Like if I show you something like 1 and 15 payments on 1st and 15th. So if I would say go for month, select 1 here and add select month and select 15 here. So it's 1 and 15 means if I would be doing invoice on 2nd, 3rd, 4th or something like that, then the due date will be the next month, I mean this month 15th. It will fall on the next 15th of the month. Suppose if I does invoice on 16th or 17th, or my invoice date is 16th or 17th, then the due date will be on December 1st because I also gave 1 here. So 2 payment days I have defined for a terms payment days in the list of payment days I have defined 2 days. 2 days means whichever will come first, that will be the due date of that invoice. Suppose if I does the invoice on 18th, so next coming December 1st will be the nearest date in these two. Because December 15th is far away from December 1st. So December 1st will be the due date. So that's how this payment days works usually. So application of this payment days in terms of payment, I'll show you once we arrive at the terms of payment concept, I'll explain you and link it to that actually. Clear guys, this one? Any confusion in this? In the same way, you can also keep 2 weekdays. I mean, Wednesday and Saturday you can keep, no problem. One after the other. Select week as criteria and select Wednesday here and next select week again like this. Select Saturday again. It's up to you. You can also select 2 or 3 days. Even if you're following a pattern like every month, every week first you are paying. So you can select that pattern like 4 days you can select. When do you have to pay and all? It's all up to you. I mean, up to you and the agreement of the vendor. You can apply this payment days. So the application further I'll show you, no worries. Moving on to the next topic, payment schedules. So this is one interesting topic. So what are payment schedules? Any idea about what is payment schedule? Anyone? Agree with the vendor that a payment can be made on multiple terms, multiple schedules. Like if you are buying something from Amazon or Flipkart. So if you are buying a laptop or mobile from Amazon, Flipkart, you keep on EMI basis. Okay, you will pay the vendor on EMI basis. No cost EMI. Suppose if you have to pay 50,000, you'll pay for 5 months as 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. Keep on. Okay. So it's up to you. Maybe vendor would ask you to pay 20,000 in the first month and remaining 30,000 in the next 4 months. There could be a chance. So it will be according to the schedule that is given by the vendor, you might have to follow and you might have to configure the same and apply it on the invoice. That so that you can also pay the invoice and pay different schedules. So that's how. Let's see what kind of payment schedules we can configure in Dynamics. So nothing like not difficult actually, more or less like EMIs or uh, multiple term payments of a single payment, dividing a single payment into multiple schedules. So here it is again, accounts payable, payment setup, payment schedules. Click on payment schedules. You can create a payment schedule actually. Let me create a new payment schedule. See, I have 4 methods in payment schedules: total, fixed amount, fixed quantity, and specified. Okay. So total method Actually, I can, so I'll just create it as total. Total means payment. So this indicates that you're paying the total amount at a time. So there are no schedules actually. The total payment of the invoice will be done at a time. No application of schedules or multiple payments. It's a single payment. So you don't have any options available actually here. Since it's a total payment, totally you have to pay. That's all. Then you have some options actually, maximum amount and the minimum amount. So the maximum amount of the invoice to apply this kind of terms of payment. So you can say the maximum amount of invoice should be at least, I mean, 10,000, and it should be minimum 100. You can say our minimum 0, maximum is 10,000 only. If it is 10,000, I can pay at a time. But if it is more than 10,000, I might have to use another payment schedule. I mean, you can also use it in that way. So there are no more options available actually for this total payment schedule. It's that you have to pay it totally at a time. That's all. So this is one method of payment. I mean, sorry, one payment schedule. Then you can create one more actually. So call it as fixed amount. This one, I'm selecting this method allocation as fixed amount. So FA, you can give how much fixed amount. I would say like 5,000. Okay, let me see. Amount of 5,000. You can say 5,000 dollars. Fixed amount of $5,000. Okay, I have to give the amount actually. So fixed amount is a method in which you will pay the vendor fixed amount on invoice. Suppose if the invoice is for 20,000, I'll show you with example. So invoice is for 20,000. So you can pay every month or every 2 months according to your criteria. You can pay uh, how much ever you want. So suppose if I said fixed amount of 5,000, right? So every month I'll pay 5,000. Every month in the sense whatever the day I want. So from that day I'll pay 5,000, 5,000, 5,000 every month. So after paying 5,000, 20,000 will be completed, right? So that's how the fixed schedules. These are single amount of 5,000 you will pay on monthly basis or periodic basis according to your frequency, how you would define the period. So either it can be monthly or weekly or any other periods. Like you can define here payments as per days or months. So I will say months. So every 1 month. That's what months, and every 1 month I'll pay. Every 1 month a single payment. And then how much amount you are going to pay. I'll say 5,000 I am going to pay. So there should be a minimum amount again. So for the last schedule to pay, what should be the minimum amount you can give here? Suppose if I give the minimum amount is 10, and if the after all paying all the 5,000, 5,000, 5,000 for the last period, $9 is remaining, then what it will do is it will not keep that $9 in the last month. It will adjust it to the previous month itself, like 5,009 dollars automatically. Because for a schedule to be maintained, there should be at least $9. That's what I'm saying. Okay, that's how we can apply it. So I'll show you this as an example anyway. So minimum amount in a schedule should be this much. So this maximum and minimum are related to the invoice. So to apply this payment schedule, how much should be the maximum amount of the invoice and how much should be the minimum amount on the invoice? So that is it. Okay, you can save it. Then you can also make this a flexible plan. Like here, you can apply the flexible plan. Minimum number of installments, maximum number of installments you can give. So normally, if it is not a flexible plan, how much ever will be the invoice amount, every month you will pay 5,000 and the invoice amount will get completely paid upon dividing by 5,000. Like if it is 20,000, in 4 months it will get completed. If it is 50,000, it will take 10 months to get completed because on every month we are paying one 5,000 installment, right? So you can make it a flexible plan, like minimum number of installments. I would say even though there are four installments, like, and you can also give the maximum number, minimum number of installment is 2 and maximum number of installments is 4 that I am giving here. So I can, which means in maximum of 4 installments you have to pay, or you can pay in a minimum of 2 installments. Minimum of 2 installments means you will not only 5,000, you can make it 10,000, 10,000 and pay it directly to the vendor. Or if you pay single installment also, you will agree because he's on the receiving side. So, but vendor is allowing a maximum of 4 installments, or you can say vendor is allowing a maximum of 5 installments. So normally if you pay 5,000, 5,000, 20,000 will be completed in 4 months. But he's allowing you another installment also in case if you miss anything, you can also extend it to 5 installments. That's what the vendor said. So he gave you a flexible plan. So you can apply that flexible plan if it is applicable. If not, you can drop it off. So I just kept it. I mean, I just disabled it or enable it and change it to 0. Also change it to 0. Now it will be okay. This is off. Let's see how we can apply this on an invoice quickly. I'll show you. Generally, that is not applied at the time of invoice. Actually, it's applied after posting the invoice. So it takes a while to load. We'll create an invoice for a vendor quickly. Select a name, vendor invoice channel, go to lines. So I can select a vendor. Like this Tata company. Okay. I'll give an invoice date. I'll give the invoice date as 1st of November. Okay. Invoice number. It has TANV 89 something. And vendor is always credited. I'm crediting him for $209. Sorry, $20,009. 20,009. Offset account. I'll use as some expense account since assuming that I made an expense from this vendor. So I'll just use some miscellaneous expense account. So 209 is what I gave. Remember, I'm not giving anything here in this place. I'm just generally validate it and post it. So I'll just post it. Vendor is created for 20,009. It's the amount on the invoice, and the invoice is dated for 1st of November. So by default, since I did not give any terms of payment, the due date on the invoice is also 1st of November according to the system. Because if I give some terms of payment like 5 days or 2 days, so it accordingly it will define the due date. However, I did not give any terms of payment, so it will use the same due date. Meanwhile, I'll just take you to accounts payable payment journal. So I have payments and payment journal here. So this invoice is posted, as you can see, for 20,009, and offset account is used as this expense account, and voucher will be accounts payable debited, and so the accounts payable credited and the expense account being debited. Accounts payable is credited for 20,009 and miscellaneous expense account is debited for 20,009. Okay, so let me go back now, and I'm going to this payment journal where I can make a payment to this invoice. Okay, so this is a invoice journal where I created invoice, and this is a payment journal. Going to new, Select the payment journal, vendor payment journal. We have used this earlier for generation of checks, vendor payment journal. Suppose if I select the vendor, same vendor, Tata company, for whom I have that invoice. So I'm doing nothing here. I'm not entering any amount and all. I'm just going to this option, settle transactions. Here I can see all the pending transactions for the vendor. Suppose if I go to settle transactions, here I can see this one, invoices. Invoices are on this side. Actually, payments are on this side. So these are all our pending payment transactions that we have made advance payments to the vendor. We're not going to do anything with them. So, but we have three invoices as you can see here. I'm selecting this invoice, 20,009. So here you can see. So you can apply a payment schedule for this invoice actually. Once selected this invoice, here you can see the option apply payment schedule. Here, click on apply payment schedule after selecting the invoice. So it asks me, so you can directly give some percentage or amount here, or you can say percentage or amount. Or let's see amount, okay? So which payment schedule that you want to apply here, you can select the payment schedule here. Payment schedule. We have two schedules, total and fixed amount of 50,000. If you select total, you can say starting point again, starting point with 1st November, click on OK. So total of 20,009 you have to pay on 1st November itself. Or you can delete this, apply another payment schedule, select the total payment, sorry, not total, this one, fixed amount of 55,000 payment schedule, starting from 1st of November, click on OK. See here, see on 1st of December you have to pay 5,000, 1st of January you have to pay 5,000, 1st of February 5,000, and 1st of March it is 5,009, because in the payment schedule you have said minimum amount is 10, so that the remaining 9 is adjusted into the previous installment itself here, 5,009. So this is how it will divide the invoice amount that has to be paid into equal parts, 5,000, 5,000 and 5,000, like this. Okay, suppose if I give this here as 0, suppose let's see what happens if I give it as 0. Then again I'll delete all of them and apply the payment schedule once again. Go to payment schedule, select the payment schedule as fixed 28, start date again as 1st of November, click on OK. Now see here. So actually here 1st of December 5,000, 1st of January 5,000, 1st of February 5,000, 1st of March 5,000, coming to 1st of April $9. So that remaining $9 is again made as a separate schedule actually. But whereas if I give minimum is 10 here like earlier, so it would adjust whatever that is less than 10 will be adjusted to the previous schedule, like 5,009 here. So that's how this payment schedule application works. Clear, guys? Any confusion in this application of payment schedule? That's all. See here, as I said, months and one, we have it in that way. Suppose if I say days, and I'll say every 15 days. Okay, days and 15. I just changed it, not months. Okay, now let's go and see what happens. I'll just again delete everything and apply the same schedule, payment schedule here. Select the same schedule starting from 1st of November. Click on OK. Now you can see here, starting from here, from 16th of November, 5,000. 1st of December, 5,000. 16th of December, 5,000. 31st of December, 5,000. So every 15 days you have one installment. Within 2 months only, total 20,000 is getting completed. And the last of $9 is being adjusted into next month, I mean later month of January 15th. So that's how for every 15 day you have a payment scheduled. For every 15 days you have a payment scheduled actually. So it all depends on the frequency that you select here, either monthly or days or for every quarter means you can select months and 3. So it will be for every quarter. You can schedule a payment. And the minimum amount, as I said, you can give some amount as a minimum amount. So that's how this payment schedule apply. Now I'll go back to the same actually months and 1 and 5,010. So may it be any invoice again. That amount is 5,000 only as you gave here. If you want another amount, you can create another fixed amount method as a FA 10,000. So I can also create that like this one, FA 10,000. Just copy and paste the same here. Fixed amount 10,000. And select fixed amount. I can select 10,000 here. I can select months again and 1. Okay, minimum amount of 10. I'll select again here and save it. So 2 I have. So this is for 5,000. This is for 10,000. So I can apply the other one as well here. Coming to here, delete this. Go to payment schedule. Select FA 10,000. Starting from 1st of November. It's for monthly, right? So if I click on OK, you can see for the first month of December, December 1st, 10,000. January 1st, 10,009. Okay, that $9 is also adjusted into the earlier payment schedule itself since it is less than the minimum amount that I have defined here. That's how. So I can apply this. I mean, I can select this and click on OK here. You can also use this percentage option actually. If you use this, it shows 49.98 in this month and 50.02 in this month. Usually that because of that $9 change. So it's showing slightly higher percentage or 0.04 percentage difference in the two schedules. Now if I click on OK here, or you can select anything just for the representation sake, percentage or amount. Click on OK. Now you can see this single invoice 989 is broken into two invoices or two payment schedules are applied. Due date for the first schedule is 1st of December and you can see 10,000 here. And for the 1st of January 2022, you might have to pay 10,009. You can see the single invoice is broken into two schedules, 10,000 and 10,009. So that's how you can apply a payment schedule and this is how it will look like. So while you have to pay for month of December, you will pay this one and this one will fall into the month of January. So you will pay later. So the due date you can see here, it shows up like this. So that is how you can use fixed amount method. Let's go for the other one, fixed quantity method. So there is a slight difference between this fixed amount method and fixed quantity method. So I'll say fixed quantity, 3 months suppose. KFQ 3 months means here you will select the allocation method as fixed quantity. Then you can select the same criteria you want once in a month. Okay, how many number of payments? So you are saying once in a month. Okay, so there can be any amount on the invoice. In how many months you want to settle it? That's what it is asking. I'll say I want to settle it in 3 months. Means every month one installment for 3 months. Means 3 installments I'll get. Okay, that's what I'm selecting here. Every month one installment. So I'll have three payments totally. So here you don't have this option of amount in transaction currency to give. For fixed amount, you have the amount to give. But for fixed quantity, you don't have any amount. It will divide the amount on the invoice equally for the 3 months. You can give the minimum last amount schedule if you want to, or if not, you can leave it. So again, this selection is for maximum amount of the maximum invoice amount and the minimum invoice amount on which this payment schedule is applicable. This one. And here you can give the flexible plan if there is any alterations in the plan. If the vendor is offering you any flexibility, you can give maximum and minimum number of installments. And the most important is this one, sales tax allocation, charges allocation. See, when I apply payment schedule to any invoice, it will be broken into three parts or four. In here, it will be broken into three parts, one for each month, three schedules, right? So when the sales tax on the invoice has to be paid, if there is a sales tax on the invoice, I say that it has to be paid in the first installment itself. So I can select that option here. Here I have three options: proportionally, first installment, last installment. If I say proportionally means sales tax will be apportioned for all the three payments. So if you have three schedules, sales tax will also be proportionally calculated for all the three schedules. Like if I say there is an invoice of 20,000, let's assume, not 20,000, I'll say 30,000 invoice amount. We are using this method, fixed quantity, monthly, and three total payments. Okay, means every month I'll make payment, for 3 months I'll make payments again. So in the first month, generally I'll pay 10,000. So second month, 1,000 again. Third month, 10,000 again. Okay. Then let's assume that there is also a sales tax here of something like 900 sales tax is there on 30,000. So this is tax. So how this tax has to be collected? That's what system is asking there. If you say proportionally means, so every month it will be 10,000 plus 300 tax. So 300 tax. 300 tax. So you are paying in this way. Or if I say in first installment itself, so it asks me to pay in the first installment itself. You have the option of first installment. Okay. So then you have this option of paying everything in the first installment. Tax will be paid in the first installment itself. So actually it's 30,000 plus 900 will be taken. 30,900 will be taken into consideration. I'll show you. So 30,900 divided by 3. It's like 10,300. So every month you will pay 10,300 only, out of which, so I'll just show you it in this way, 10,300 and 10,300. So here also 10,300, but in this 10,300, 900 is the tax. Here there won't be any tax further because the tax itself is paid in the first installment here. 900 is tax and the whatever is the remaining, that 9,400 amount is the base amount of the invoice. So 900 of tax you are paying it in the first installment itself. So that can be a condition of the vendor that he might have to submit it to the authority. So he want you to pay the tax amount on the invoice in the first installment itself. However, the remaining amounts are normal. So if at all you define the schedule in this way, like first installment first, so taxes will be assumed to be paid in the first installment itself or in the first schedule installment that you are paying. So in that only taxes will be calculated. However, for the next two installments, there are no taxes normally, but the installments are pending though. But if you select last installment, you have that option. Means for the first two installment, tax is not considered, but for the last installment, whatever you are paying within that 900 will be the tax, or out of that amount 900 is assumed to be the tax in the third installment. Or you can say proportionally means every month 300 it will, they'll consider it as tax. So for every installment they'll consider 300. Out of this 10,300, 300 is the tax actually. Every month it is 300. That's how the proportionally works. This one. And charges allocation is also the same actually. If there are any charges on the invoice like freight charges, packing charges, or any other charges, maintenance charges, traveling charges, and all transport charges. So all of them can also be applied proportionally or to be paid in the first installment or last installments, up to you. The same. So now I'll save this method. Then I'll go to one of the vendor payments. Okay. Um, Let me select any other invoice. I'll just click on OK. Let me select another vendor, like vendor number. So I'll select this General Electric. So is this vendor General Electric? But this is a foreign vendor. I think we did not post any invoice for this vendor. Let me select this one, Nika. This vendor Nika. So I'll go for settle transactions. So I'll just go for 1st of November and go for settle transactions here in this page. In the vendor payment journal I am in. Okay, here I can see an invoice of 1500 which is pending that has to be paid. See, invoice number is something. Due date is showing us something like 24th of November, but however we'll change it anyway. So I can see this amount of the invoice is 1500. Now I'll select this invoice, go to apply payment schedule. So we can apply payment schedule for this actually. Payment schedule. Select the fixed quantity 3 months payment schedule starting from 1st of November, I'd say. Click on OK. And you can see amount here actually. So for the 1st of December 500, 1st of January 500, 1st of 1st of February 2022 another 500. So it will divide, the fixed quantity will be divided into equal periods, as I was saying. So here as you selected months and one and three payments. So for every month one payment. So it will divide the total amount of the invoice by three equal parts. If the invoice amount is like 30,000, it will divide it into three equal parts, 10,000, 10,000 and 10,000. Since here the invoice amount is 1500 total amount, so it is dividing that into three parts for every month, 500, 500 and 500. So it will divide equally fixed amount. So that's how this work. Fixed quantity works. Fixed amount is where you give a fixed amount which has to be applied every month, regardless of the number of installments you are paying. Fixed amount of 5,000 only you will pay. So if it is 60 installments also, you'll pay 5,000, 5,000, 5,000 for every 6 installments. When it comes to fixed quantity, it's slightly different. So it will divide the total amount of the invoice by the numerator, denominator that you have here. Denominator is the number of periods or number of schedules. So if you're saying every month and one, so every month once, and you have number of payments as three, like three payments means 3 months you will pay. So that's how this fixed quantity is different from fixed amount. Clear guys? Any confusion in this? Anyone? So I'm not applying this anyway. I'll just cancel this. So if I cancel this, it won't get applied. But if I would have applied it, it would have broken into three parts like 500, 500 and 500 with each one with a separate due date. Okay. I can create one more actually. So there is one last one, which is specific method, specified method. So where you can give your wish. You can define your own percentages in the specific method. So I'll say specific 5 months. We'll just give the name here, specific 5 months. So if it is specific means there is no criteria like months, days or anything. This is not applicable. Okay, the anything is not applicable here. So the specific method majorly deals with your specific payment lines you can select here in this one. This is only available for specific method. For the rest of the other methods, you don't see anything. It's grayed out. Only for specific method, you can see here. So as I said, 5 months specific means, so let's assume that there is totally 100% on the invoice. So I would say in the first month, I can say 10,000. I mean, I want to pay 30%. On the second month, I will pay 20%. In the third month, I'll pay 15%. Fourth month, I'll pay 10%. So much it is 50, 65, 75, right? So in the fifth month, I'll pay remaining 25%. So that's how I can define my own schedule, percentage, or I can also give amount actually. Means first month I'll pay 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 20,000, 15,000. I can give my amounts also directly. So mostly they'll give percentages because they can apply it on any invoice. If they give amounts means it might exceed the invoice amount or it might sometimes less than the invoice amount. There can be chance. So that is why I'm selecting percent here, 30%, 20%, 15%. So I can define my own specific schedules, how much percentage I have to pay in which month and all. You can apply the same on any invoice. Again, the sales tax calculation and charges allocation or sales tax allocation and charges allocation or according to your criteria in the first installment or proportionally or last installment up to you. So accordingly, sales tax will be accounted. Then if I would apply this schedule on the payment in this particular invoice, 1500 invoice, I'll go for apply payment schedule, go to payment schedule, select the payment schedule as this one, specific 5 months, starting from 1st of November, click on OK. As you can see here, the same percentages that you have defined in the payment schedule are appearing here for the invoice on monthly basis. So when you see here for the so say has to do okay, we give days here, right? So sorry for that. So for every day it is taking here. So this one, if we select months, for every month it will take here. So here it, since we considered it as days, it is showing for every day, as you can see here, November 2nd, November 3rd, November 4th, November 5th and 6th and all. Give amount and you can see the amount that 1500 is being divided into 5 parts. So I would have given months there actually. Before that, I'll just show you. I'll just delete this from here and I can go back again to the payment schedule, change it to months here. Sorry for that. So actually when you select 5 here, so that what is that 5? That 5 is months. So that you have to give here, days or months or anything. So for every month I have one schedule, like for 5 months I have 5 schedules are predefined or my specific schedules I have given. So now I can go to payment schedule again, apply the payment schedule as, so not this one, specific 5 months and 1st of November, and I can click on OK. And you can see here for 1st of December you have to pay 30%, this one 20%, like this. So you can also see it in the percentage view. So 30, 20, 15, 10 and 25 as you have defined in the payment schedule, 30, 20, 15, 10 and 25. So December, January, February, March and April. So that 1500 is being divided in this way. Suppose if I feel like I don't want this schedule, which one? This April one. So I will pay the remaining amount in March itself. So you can delete it from here and you can keep this as 35 directly. This one. So now if you see the amount, you can see here it's only 4, or you can edit it anytime. Not only this payment schedule, you can edit any payment schedule at this level also before applying it to the invoice. But there is a different, there is still a pending amount actually. I think we not completed the total amount. 30, 20, okay, 50, right? This is also 50, right? So it is showing a reminder. Okay, it's not refreshed, I think. Now it should show me, yeah, 525, and there is no reminder. Now I can apply the schedule. So that's all. But if it is anything less, actually it won't agree to accept the schedule. Suppose if I give 25 here, let me just refresh it. Come on, refresh. It's not getting refreshed actually. Thought of changing it to 25. Okay, and amount. Now I can see. I just clicked on Control S, so it's got saved. there is a remainder of 158. Means there is still some percentage of amount pending. You can see 10% amount is pending yet. After all adding all these things, I can see it's 90 only, but there is still 10% remaining. So I don't see this option OK here. Until and unless you complete 100% here, you don't see OK here. Now you can add one more, like for any other day. If you want to change days, you can also change days actually. So it was for April 1st, right? So I can give April 1st and give another 10% here. Now I can click on Control S. Now I can see OK here because there is no pending amount. Or in any of the schedule, if you want to change days, you can change also on February 1st if it is a public holiday, something. So if you want to pay in second, you can say February 2nd. Okay, same applies with January 1st. You can say January 3rd you are going to pay because January 1st is Saturday, January 2nd is Sunday. So you can select January 3rd directly. Up to you. You can change it to any days when before you apply the schedule to an invoice. So this is how we can use this specific schedule method. So there are completely four. One is total method, fixed amount method, fixed quantity method, and specific 5 method, specific 5 months method. Okay, you can apply any method and use them here in this way. So suppose if I apply this one to this invoice, click on OK. See here, this single invoice of 1500 is broken into 5 parts, specific parts. As I say, for 12 December 1st, you are due to pay 450. For January 1st, February 1st, February 2nd, sorry, January 3rd, February 2nd, and March 1st, April 1st, you have to pay these amounts. So on periodic basis, specific schedules are defined. So due dates will fall on separate days actually, the same invoice again. Okay, that's how you can define payment schedules and apply it on invoices case. Do practice it until here.